Yes, sir.
PJ, can you go to Ben there? We're going to go to Ben on the right.
Hey, Buzz, how's it going? You guys have been rebounding really well as of late, especially on the offensive glass. Tall task tomorrow, though, 6'11", Steinbach on Washington. Kind of how do you guys approach going against a player that size when you've been rebounding so well recently?
It's interesting that you had asked that. I brought some of the stuff. I was skimming it before I talked to the kids in a minute. So we have become more clear within the margins that our staff has discovered from the month of January. And so we've tried to focus on some specifics in February. And as you know, because you're asking the question, the one thing that was intermingled was rebounding. And so I wanted to separate the games January and February. We've been dramatically better. Some of it is Colin. A lot of it is Solo. I think some of our guards from a defensive rebounding standpoint have had an uptick as well. Having said that, from studying Washington, to your point, 6'11", 24 are really good. 8 is underrated in that regard. And so if there's an outlier stat, which there was Wednesday in Evanston, but if there's not an outlier stat, I think a lot of it will come down to your question. Can we control the glass from a defensive rebounding standpoint? Can we manufacture extra possessions on the offensive glass? And it won't just be Solo. It won't just be 6 or 11. It will be the cumulative effect in a 65-possession game. I think that's what it'll end up being.
And then another routine-based question here. I've noticed a lot on game days, a lot of your rituals or steps end in 1, so 531, 601, 631.
Yeah, I don't know where you got that, but I do like odd numbers, particularly repeating odd numbers.
Okay. Is there a reason behind the 1 or no?
Yes, sir. It would be like too revealing. Not that it's – I know you've already picked up on some of my idiosyncrasies if you're asking that question, but tomorrow I think rebounding clips is 631, right? So that means shoot-arounds is 701. So that means I'm on the treadmill at 521. I don't know. Just part of getting old and part of I love numbers and think too highly of numbers and try not to skew them. But some of our guys have picked up on it, even though they're all new. The longer kids are around me, the more they realize it started initially every minute is important in your life. Never give away a second. And when you say 5:31 instead of 5:30, just like you're asking, it's like, why isn't it just 5:30? Because that minute matters, just like that minute in a game matters. That's kind of where it all began.
Thanks, Buzz.
Yes, sir.
Coach, what's impressed you the most about Andre's development? I mean, we've all seen it over the last couple of weeks, but what you've seen over the season that's getting him to this point?
Yeah, maybe a few things on that. He was a redshirt last year, he and George. They come from great stability, unbelievable sphere of influence, long history of relationships within our staff and within that sphere. Both of those guys probably handled their redshirt year better than anybody that I've been coaching in my 18 years at that point. I think over the last 2 months, predominantly since Christmas, I think both of those, particularly Dre, has been miscast within some of our roster attrition and volatility. And so I think some of the knocks that he had in November and December, considering it was his first time ever playing, it was a little overwhelming to him. I think he's embraced that more. I think his work ethic, because of what he was going through, has increased at a really good pace. I think his basketball IQ, he's been spending more time watching clips. He can articulate what's happening better by watching it. I think that's helping him in real time as he's playing. And I think he's playing off 2 feet, and we've been that's a part of what we've been studying and a part of what we've been working off on the court. His rim shot percentage has continued to increase. His ability to get to the rim has continued to increase. I think when that becomes he's getting fouled and making free throws, I'm excited about where he's going to go. But like I told him on Wednesday, I told him on Thursday, man, that was incredible. But Sunday, when you were texting me on the bus on the way home, you were 3 of 14. And so what shots are you getting? And now Monday morning, he gives me a breakdown. We have categories of shots. I want you to review every one of those possessions that you shot the ball, and then I want you to tell me what category that shot was, and I want to see what you shot from each of those categories. And then Thursday morning, I want you to do the same thing. And he's like, Coach, you're right. And I go, it's not about me being right. It's about you understanding the difference. And so I think his IQ is progressing at the same rate that his work ethic is. And I think that that's really encouraging. He's played 26 games in his career. Do I think he's great? No. Do I think he is trying to figure out how to be great? Yes. And for me, I think that's what's fun. The tension and trying to figure it out is where you have growth.
Thanks. Good luck tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, Buzz. Do you ever struggle to get kids up that early, 5:30 a.m.?
No, sir.
No.
No. I don't mean that to be sarcastic or condescending. I think a lot of that was how I was raised. It's probably how you were raised. A lot of people that don't live in this fairy tale land that we live in, they wake up early every day and go to work. And so throughout my whole career, it's not because I'm at Maryland. We've done that everywhere. We start our work the day after Labor Day, and we're going to stay in an early mode of operation until our first exhibition game. And we hearken back to that as TV has changed the landscape of inventory. You know, you look at all of our games. How many games do you play prior to 3 p.m.? And how many games do you play after 5 p.m.? It ends up being pretty close to the same now with TV being what it's been. I think some of what we do from September to late October, early November, and then we kind of refresh that habit every week from that point forward. Any day following a day off, we have early bird. We've done that my entire career. We had early bird this morning. So it's just to kind of keep us fresh. And there's some evidence that speaks to early afternoon games. The team that wakes up the earliest normally has the best chance, and I think our career speaks to that as well.
And then going off the Andre Mills question, he's been one of the more encouraging signs for the future that have emerged over these last few games, few weeks. Not that you're overlooking these last 4 or 5 games, but is that something you kind of allow yourself to think about what he could mean for next year's team and beyond?
Well, I think in roster construction and what this has become, I think all data points are important. And I think the persistence that's required in all of this, whether it's the head coach, whether it's your staff that recruits, whether it's your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, I think one thing that we've tried to be ultra aware of in preparation, there's 20% of the Big Ten season still remaining. I don't know in your line of work, 20% is pretty significant. And that 20% counts the same as the first 20%. And so, not that you ask, but we're not going to give away 1 minute or 1% of any part of any of this, not because we're the best, not because we're the smartest, but that's part of what we want our habits to be. Whether you're a redshirt freshman, whether you are running out of eligibility, whether you're video coordinator or whether you're the head coach. I think the gratitude that we should have relative to the opportunity should be reflective in our preparation, but there also has to be some level of wisdom in how the model has changed on as you project this out. You know, a long time ago, you would kind of think through, hey, if he's a senior, do you want a freshman? And when the senior leaves, is he good enough to be the guy as a sophomore? Or should it be senior, sophomore? And then as you would do your too deep depth chart, when there used to be 13 scholarships, where do you want your other 3 to be? Do you want it to be on the guard side? Do you want it to be on the forward side? I know it seems like just yesterday, Solo was that swing forward for us. Was he a 3 upon arrival? No. Was he a 4? Kind of, sort of. Could you play small ball 5 with him? Yes. Could he do any of that as a freshman without the skill? All of that's kind of changed, right? How many guys on your roster can you pay? How many guys on your roster do you want to pay? How many guys in the Big Ten, if you look at the roster construction, exclude Maryland, and you look at the other 17 teams, how many of those teams, the train is so far down the track, will freshmen do it? Can freshmen have an impact? And so I think you have to study all of that, and then you have to be at peace with your decisions in how you want to build, but you also have to be kind of almost over the top in what's required on a daily basis to be able to function and have success at this level.
And then kind of a bigger picture question. All your last 4 jobs, it all kind of followed a similar script where year 1, maybe the results weren't there, but you turned it around by year 2 or 3. Do you believe that year 1, I guess, like tear down, so to say, do you believe that's necessary, just in terms of program building, and why or why not?
Well, we went 9-9 in conference play at UNO the year after Hurricane Katrina. It was a make-ready job when I was hired at Marquette. In many respects, we had, I think we had 4 starters returning. 3 of those guys ended up having multiple contracts in the NBA, guaranteed contracts. We went 2-16 in year number 1 at Virginia Tech. We started 2 walk-ons, one who is now a doctor, one who is now a Navy SEAL. Year 1 at Texas A&M, against all odds, I think we lost 3 games in the MTE in Orlando, ended up going 10-8, and we were coach of the year in year number 1. And that we got a bye, and then the day we were supposed to play, like 6 hours before, is when the world shut down, I believe. I honestly think maybe there's some residue from each of those, not making it about myself. But the one thing that I have noticed that I should have maybe been more aware of, I had a pretty good vibe in visiting with Dr. Pines, who my staff was going to be, other than the 3 I eventually hired. One was in my wedding. One had worked with me before, and I knew one was going to be somebody brand new. But everybody else came with us. I don't know that I was necessarily thinking the interim AD portion, the portal portion, the NIL portion, and that all 15 players' scholarships would be available. That's a lot. I need to do better. I could have done better. Hindsight's always 20/20. I'll be accountable for that. I've been really encouraged since the last time I did this. I've gotten 27 books about Maryland. I will read them. And I've been really encouraged by like just droves of Terrapins that I don't even know that have been, because I don't have a computer and I don't use email, like the things that I have received that have been written in regards to how we're growing, how we're building, maybe more so in the slant of how we're trying to go about it, not necessarily the results. That's been really encouraging to my heart. I've shared a lot of that with our staff. I don't necessarily think a tear down is what happens anymore in 2026. I think it's what comes with the job. And I'm not speaking ill towards the model, towards the era, nor am I speaking ill towards the University of Maryland or any of the young men that were in the program. That's just what happens. And that has to be a part of the calculations, however it is unquantifiable. When there's a football job open, everybody's gone. So you're starting from ground zero. And when you're starting from ground zero and it's all relied on the portal or a lot of it, you're not going to shoot 100% in the portal. But some of this is not known as well, too, right? Like how much and how many. And so there's some variables that you have to be careful and diligent in how you make the decisions. Yes, sir.
I gotta get Coach next door, and then I'll get Andre in.
Dre's talking?
Yes. Got Johnny next.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, I'm excited about Alumni Weekend. We'll see a lot of they said there's going to be about 40 of them in there right now.
Could be a good crowd.
Yeah, it'll be good. Thank you. See you guys.
Thanks, Buzz.
Yes.
Hey, Andre. Buzz has talked about kind of what his ideal lead guard kind of looks like in an offense. I'm just curious because he's mentioned you kind of having to play a little bit out of position this season. Do you view yourself as that traditional lead guard, more so a two guard, or kind of can you be a mixture of both?
Honestly, growing up, I never really had a position because I'd say like in elementary school, middle school, I was always taller than other people. So like I had to play big man. And middle school, you know, it catches up with you. So I would say like I was probably like a wing guardish. In high school, probably like the 3-through-1 area. And then, you know, college, now I've done played every position I could think of besides the 5. So honestly, just impacting winning as much as I possibly can. I don't really have a position, but I'd say like in terms of my game, just being aggressive, being downhill, playing off 2 feet, watching film, making reads, and impacting the game as much as I possibly can, honestly.
Yeah, and so you mentioned being aggressive, going downhill. I feel like that's an aspect that we've seen a lot more of over the last month or so. Do you feel like you're getting more comfortable with maybe the physicality of the Big Ten, kind of getting used to knowing when to take bumps and how to kind of absorb contact in the paint?
Yeah, for sure. Especially because, like last time we came in here, we talked about how after practice we do a bunch of different layups from different angles and stuff like that. So at times we also bring a pad involved, and you got to hit the pad at this time and that time, and it's like 1 ticker, 2 ticker, like type of thing. So we've been trying to like mix it up as much as possible. But I'd say I am getting way more comfortable with the physicality, the pace, and also, like I said, scouting and film as well. Like, I know this person really can't guard, or I know this person's better in the weak side and help side, so I'm going to have this person come up and raise you because I know I could beat this person one-on-one, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Thank you.
Hey, Andre, we've seen the lineup get tightened a lot over the last few weeks. Obviously, we've seen that you're a guy that can go out there and play those long games, 35 minutes and north of that, week in, week out. But what do you think it does for the team as a whole to see things get a little skinnier with minutes with the season coming down to it?
I think that in terms of people in the roster, I feel like it really hasn't affected us, or it hasn't, shown in the locker room anyway. I think that everybody else is kind of just happy to be cheering us on. I mean, we're all really close. We all kind of went through it together. We've been through a lot together, honestly. So we don't really feel it, I would say.
Then thinking back to the very beginning of the season, the boot camp, of course, you've been through 2 now with Coach. Is that something that you feel has truly prepared the team for the situations getting like this with a lot of guys playing north of 30?
The ultimate bonding. Yes, it is. Yeah, that ain't nothing like that. So for sure, that is the ultimate bonding. That's stuff we still talk about to this day, and yeah, for sure.
We're gonna go Jake, and we're running out of time, just so you know, 'cause we've got film a little bit, but Jake, go ahead.
Hey, Andre, wanted to ask you, I know Buzz has talked a lot about the lessons you guys have learned as a team, but what's maybe something you've learned about yourself this season?
Don't change. Be who I've always been, honestly. It might be rare or different to some people, but the way I'm playing right now is how I've played my whole life. Just a little revved up a notch, obviously, because I'm bigger, faster, taller, stronger. But yeah, just be myself. Be who you are. Be the leader that I want to be. Be Dre. So yeah.
And then is there anything you feel like this coaching staff in particular has really helped you hone in your game this season?
I'd say reading the defense, reading the second guy, reading the help guy, reading the gaps. Like, I feel like that is the most important thing when it comes to college basketball, and I didn't really understand that. And it took me some time, but definitely I'd say the areas of the court where to move off the ball. I feel like I'm getting a lead at moving off the ball because, before, I'd say earlier in the year, I would kind of just watch like in amazement sometimes. But the movement, and I say the same thing on defense as well. Like, being on defense and knowing the spots on defense can also help you, because obviously you want to stop the next person from scoring, but you got to take your break somewhere. So definitely knowing and being spatially aware of what's going on, and being spatially aware of who's supposed to be on what spot, and if that's not going on, what's the next step to fix it. So for sure that.
All right, I gotta get on the film. If I didn't give you a credential for tomorrow, hang out, and when I come back, I'll give it to you. All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
everybody. Thank you.
Old